to check. I think we don't get enough signal. Okay, let's move. Better. Okay, so a friend of mine asked me to talk about anxiety and how to deal with it. First of all, anxiety is a big problem. It can be a huge problem, but anxiety can be actually controlled super easily. What anxiety is basically you worry about the things in the future. So there's not much sense of worrying about the things you have no control over, that you have no idea what's going to happen. So anxiety is basically you making up things to worry about. What I want you to do is, first of all, read on cognitive behavior therapy. I talked about this before, so let me briefly remind you guys about it. Cognitive behavior therapy is basically you modifying your behavior so you will get the desired effect in life. It talks about how emotions and thought process affects each other, that creates the actions that surrounds your daily life. So it is super important. It is super essential for you to understand how the process actually takes place, because from anxiety, thinking about the things about the future that you cannot control, neither know, to depression, worrying about the things that happened in the past, it all connects to well-being and emotional health, which can truly paralyze you. So in anxiety, what happens is you pick a certain aspect of your day. Let's say you're gonna pick up the kids at 4, and you start thinking about the things that can go wrong, that will go wrong, and you start dwelling on everything that hasn't happened, that possibly couldn't happen, and it literally will paralyze you. Hello, Debbie. So anxiety will make you do things that a normal cognitive person wouldn't do. So I tell most of my clients and most of my friends, is a simple Buddhist. I was taught this by a Buddhist monk. He says, you have a problem? No. Then what do you worry about? If you have a problem, okay, let's talk about the problem. If you have a problem, then you do something about it. No, then there's nothing to worry about. You do have a problem, there's something you can do about it. Well, get up and do it. There's nothing to worry about. At no point in your life you should worry about anything, because actions will resolve issues, worries create issues. We went flying today with Archie, and Archie, say hello to people. Say hello. Okay, so he didn't want to say hello. So we went flying today. I'm gonna tell you every 10 seconds what we do when we fly. So every 10 seconds this repeat itself. We check the airspeed, altitude, attitude, vertical speed. You got suction, you got oil pressure, you got oil temperature, you got heading, you got radio going on in the background trying to let you know what others are doing in the airspace. You're constantly scanning outside, because we flying visually, constantly scanning outside traffic. At this time you have to adjust your heading, which heading you supposed to be flying, at what altitude, if you need to do some adjustments. And with your left ear, continue to listen to the background radio transmissions, what the others pilots are doing around you, and with your right ear trying to hear your passenger. This happens every 10 seconds. So, and you keep, this is an ongoing cycle. If you think about it, amount of the things that could go wrong is tremendous. So if you start worry about the things that can go wrong, you won't be able to fly at all. So what we do is, before we fly, we sit there, literally this, for an experienced pilot, it doesn't take that long of a time. You go over the things when the engine quits, when there's an engine fire, your instrumentation fails. We call that emergencies. You get ready for the emergencies. Worst comes to worst, your engine quits and there's smoke in the cockpit. What you're supposed to do, you already learned all of these. You put it to the use. There's no sense of paralyzing yourself with what could happen, what might happen. Because we live today. You can't live in the past because that's gone. That will create a humongous depression in your life, which is nonsense, because there's nothing you can do about the past. Absolutely. Regardless how much you sit there, moan, cry, pull your hair, and do whatever you want to do, there's nothing you can do about it. So about the future, well, there is things you can do about the future. We call that getting prepared. I always say, get prepared for the worst. If it happens, you're prepared already. There's no sense of trying to create anxiety. If it doesn't happen, life is fucking beautiful. What else you want out of life? Everything is great. So a little bit of a preparation, but we live the moment right now. You live this second. So are you going to paralyze yourself with the things that happened yesterday, 2 years ago, whenever? Or are you going to start worrying about the things that hasn't happened, might not happen, who knows if it's going to happen? Anxiety. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read Paula's message. Paula, you can't sit and cognitively, meaning you actually sit down and think about things that you have to do, that needs to get done, and worry about tomorrow, worry about 3 hours later. This is the I can't say the word, mythology that I use. It says, what happens if it didn't happen? You're supposed to pick up the kids at 4 and you couldn't get there at 4. Is it the end of the world? Are you gonna die? Are they gonna die? No, nothing gonna happen. Yeah, nobody's gonna be happy, but they're gonna be okay. If you get there 15 minutes late, it's gonna be okay. You doing something stupid like going 60 miles an hour in a school zone to pick them up so you won't be 2 minutes late, and that creates an enormous amount of anxiety, and you're not paying attention to the road, gonna cause you a lot more problems. Then you get in there 2 minutes late. Live with the moment today, right now. That's all that matters. That's all you can control. What you're gonna do right now, and are you prepared for tomorrow? When I had my job in the law enforcement, the only thing I would do for the next day at work is get my uniform ready and get my lunch ready, because those are the two things that was extremely important to me, and nothing else matters. And I didn't do anything for tomorrow, because tomorrow is tomorrow's business. Right now, let's say it's after 4 o'clock, I'm off duty and I got things to do that needs to get done right now. I can think about how tomorrow gonna be, and if I'm gonna get into a shootout tomorrow, if I'm gonna come back home alive. These things will only paralyze you. These things will only hurt you and hurt the people around you, the ones that you say that you love. So live for the moment. I'm not saying go out crazy, do dumb things, meaning only worry about the things that you can change, that you can affect right now. Yesterday and tomorrow, yesterday is gone, done with. There's nothing you can do about it. A very close friend of mine, Bob, he's 89 years old, and he got cancer in 90% of his body. And he is the happiest guy I know. Unbelievably, he says he had a good life and it's time to go. In about a month, he'll be gone. And I almost feel sorry for the guy, but I'm looking at him and he's perfectly happy, perfectly okay with what's happening. And from that, I take it, you have to take every pleasure you can take, every opportunity that you can take for today, for right now. Because life can be very brutal at times and it can be very short at times. You don't know, we don't know when it's our turn is. We don't know when our husbands, fathers, wives, daughters, whenever the time is for them. So why don't we just enjoy the moment, enjoy the given time that we have with them, instead of worrying about what happened yesterday and worrying about what might happen tomorrow. So the quick practice that I normally do with my clients, I say, you have to recognize the symptoms of anxiety. You're trying to create anxiety in your life. Once you get a hold of that, pause, 3 seconds. Really, it doesn't take all that much. Say, what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking I'm going to be late to work. Okay. What would happen if you get to work late? Let's just say you decided that it's impossible for you to get to work on time, and you called your boss and say, you know what, I'm stuck in traffic, it's not moving, I'll get there when I get there. What would happen? Well, you might get written up, you might be in trouble as far as administratively, nothing might happen, but there's nothing you can do to control that issue. Therefore, there's no sense of creating any kind of anxiety on you being late to work. The best thing you can do is let the boss know, which I did occasionally. You know, like, I'm stuck in traffic. I call him, this is where I'm at, this is how far I'm at. I'm stuck, the traffic is not moving, I don't know why. And we are all human, we all get stuck in the traffic, we have some kind of understanding of that. So you stop the anxiety before it becomes an issue. We all have that trigger mechanism, like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? If you solve the issue, if you control what is going on in your head at that moment, you solve the problem before it became a problem. I don't have much of anxiety because this is exactly what I do. I think about what I can do about it, and if there's nothing I can do about it, well, there's nothing I can do. So therefore, there's no sense of even thinking about this. Yeah, thank you, Gordon. Anxiety could be seriously overwhelming, especially when you don't have a good support system around you from family or friends, but it is something completely controllable, completely arrangeable. Everything happening in your head, everything happening because you start thinking certain things, and all you do is find a trigger, catch it before it becomes a problem, and you're done. Really, anxiety and depression is the same thing. It's like a whirlpool. Once you start going down the drain, once that water keeps spinning crazy, we tend to drown in it. So All I'm telling you is throw a rope that you can catch and get out of that water, get out of that whirlpool, because it only gonna consume you. It ain't only gonna make your life miserable, and unfortunately it only gonna make the people around you miserable. Brittany, music will help you resolve anxiety, because all it's doing is getting your mind off what you keep thinking about, what you making its little snowball into a bigger one. It just stop in the snowball. It will work beautifully. But again, the music does help, but you haven't done what you haven't done is address the issue. It's like you have a headache and you get to take a painkiller. Yeah, it does solve the pain issue, but it never addressed why you have the headache in the first place. My analogy is pain is great. It lets you know you're still alive. Two, it tells you there's something wrong. So I'd rather take the pain. I want to find the cause of the pain and eliminate it so it won't happen again. Every time you feel anxious, find the cause of it. What is making you feel that way? What is making you worry about something you cannot control, so it won't get out of hand and it won't happen again. It won't repeat itself. And the more you address issues about the future, the more brains learns to deal with this is something in the future we don't have any control. There is nothing we can do, so we won't even worry about it. You get to that point, then you're done. Brenda, good to see you too. Please let me know if anybody have any questions. Right now, later, shoot me a message, whatever. I'll try to do as many live casts as I can addressing the issues. I just got back from Dallas to see my kids. Gordon, it'll be nice to actually see it on TV. I like this a lot better than me recording myself, editing it, making it look pretty. I like raw emotion. I like how it comes out naturally. Even when I was at my challenge, when they tell you, you know what, the camera couldn't get that, can you say that again? I hated that because one, it never comes out naturally. Two, that's not me. I'm not an actor. I don't act. I just be me, and the most raw form, the most natural form, that's how I am comfortable, and that's how it should be. Yeah, it'll be actually nice to be on the TV and just talk about people's problems. Scott Miller, I remember Miller. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. Go ahead and shoot me any kind of problem that you want me to answer or address. I will do my best to do it as soon as I can. But as far as anxiety, there is something completely you can control. Then you can do it yourself. If you want help, I'm always here as a life coach. You can also see somebody in your community. A good place to start would be reading and learning everything about cognitive behavior therapy. It's been used for the last 30 something odd years. It's a great thing. And I'll be here. I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Enjoy your Sunday.